pound best fighter in the sport of boxing right now. It's good to see him in this position. In the position.
It's similar to Logan versus Mayweather, but Jake Paul now obviously is way more advanced than where Logan was at that.
I think it's going to be a great event. Every time I fight is fireworks. Jake Paul coming in, you know, he's much bigger, he's much stronger.
Calvin Ford, the man who's been in Tank's corner since day one, isn't losing a moment of sleep over this fight. He's watched Tank go to war with naturally bigger men in the gym for years, so Jake Paul's size doesn't impress him. But Calvin does have one very specific concern, and it's not the opponent. It's the gloves. We don't fight in 12s, he said bluntly. That's sparring gear. Ford wants Tank in 8-ounce gloves, the standard for serious lightweight action, and Jake in 10s. That, in his words, is how you make it a real fight, not a friendly gym round. He even reached out to Jake's camp about it. But they weren't interested in mixing glove sizes. To Ford, that response said everything. If Jake really wants to prove something, Ford insists he needs to stop hiding behind exhibition-style safety rules. Let him wear the 10s, we wear the 8s, then we gotta fight, Ford declared.
My only concern is, you know, the gloves. You understand what I'm saying? Because we don't fight in 12-ounce gloves. We don't use 12-ounce gloves. That's training gloves, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, that's 2 pounds of...
When it comes to the weight, neither Floyd nor Calvin Ford seems bothered. Jake Paul is hovering around 190 to 195 pounds, maybe 5 pounds heavier than what was initially agreed. But Ford didn't flinch for a second. We signed the contract. We're gonna make it do what it do, he said confidently. That's been Tank's mentality from the very beginning. It's never been about who's taller, heavier, or louder. Because once that first clean shot lands, the ring doesn't feel so big anymore. Suddenly, all that size and hype starts to mean less and less. Still, there's one thing that continues to hang in the air for Tank's team, the unfinished business with Lamont Roach. Critics keep bringing it up, questioning why that rematch hasn't happened yet, and wondering if this Jake Paul fight pushed that chapter further away.
Jake Paul brings something to media and to boxing. You cannot miss a fight. I like it, baby. I like the drama it's bringing, I'll be honest.
But honestly, nobody really cares about this fight.
Yeah, are you gonna watch it?
Yeah, of course. That's how it's gonna go. Nobody really cares, but everybody's gonna watch it. Like,
he said, nobody cares about this.
Ford simply shrugged off the criticism, saying people love to talk but forget the reality of the sport. In his words, Tank makes people famous. Nobody was talking about Roach before Tank's name got tied to his. To Ford, that whole argument about dodging legacy fights is just noise. If any of those so-called top contenders were offered the kind of deal Tank got, they wouldn't hesitate for even a second. He refuses to let anyone shame his fighter for securing the biggest payday. At the end of the day, this is boxing and business comes first.
Bro, you can't be mad at somebody for doing what they feel is best for them.
Will it impact Tank's legacy if Jake Paul were like to beat him or even like knock him out?
Dude, Tank's a 3-division world champion, 4-time 3-division world champion. At the end of it, bro, you can't take anything away from...
Floyd's return to camp has shifted the entire vibe. You can literally sense the change in energy. He's moving quietly but confidently through the gym, dropping pointers every chance he gets, reminding Tank to stay composed, think sharp, and rely on what he does best. Breaking opponents down piece by piece with timing and accuracy. He keeps repeating one line: size don't win fights, skills do. And coming from someone who built an undefeated career making bigger fighters swing at air, that message hits different. That's the mentality he wants Tank locked into. Stay patient, stay precise, and make every punch count.
I believe that this is a mismatch, and I believe that Jake Paul will knock Tank Davis out, maybe in the 3rd, maybe in the 4th round. Tank will try to move, he will try to stick and move. It's not gonna work out for him, and he will eventually get knocked out.
It almost feels surreal watching Floyd and Calvin back in the same corner again after all the tension we've seen over the years between Floyd and Tank. But in a strange way, it feels like things have come full circle. These are the two men who helped mold Tank from a raw, explosive puncher into a complete fighter, someone with knockout power, patience, and ring IQ. They may have clashed, egos may have gotten involved, but when all the noise fades, it comes down to two things: respect and legacy. Floyd understands that the kid he once guided is now a global star in his own right. And despite their differences, there's still a part of him that wants to make sure Tank rises even higher.
Because he was talking about fighting Joshua, which is heavyweight, and now he's saying about fighting Tank. Nah, this can't be. It's Netflix as well. I need to go and do some checks and see if like the main pages have posted this, but Jake Paul's posted it. It says Friday, November 14th. It's in Atlanta.
A lot of pros are beginning to echo the same sentiment Floyd and Calvin Ford are expressing. Sure, Jake Paul has the size advantage. Nobody's denying that. But when it comes to boxing in its purest form, Gervonta "Tank" Davis is simply the superior fighter in every category that counts. The numbers make the weight gap look wild on paper, but real fighters know that once the bell rings, size without true ring IQ, timing, and composure becomes meaningless. And that's exactly what people inside the sport are paying attention to right now.
At Tank Davis or Jake Paul. So, immediately, yeah, the normal layman would say, oh, Tank Davis is better. But better at what? Is he better at selling tickets? Is he better at selling stadiums out? Is he better at creating controversy? Is he better at getting followed on Instagram? Is he better at putting more eyeballs on the boxing? Is he better than him at that? The answer would be no. But is he better at him in a fight? It has to be really, you have to break it down.
Teddy Atlas broke it down in classic Teddy fashion. Honest, sharp, and straight to the point. He said the first thing that jumps out when you see Tank and Jake Paul face to face isn't the talk or the energy, it's the size. Tank looks like a lightweight standing across from a cruiserweight. Atlas noted there's nearly 8 inches in height between them, and the reach difference is even more dramatic. Most people would look at that and assume the bigger man wins, but Atlas didn't stop there. He made it clear that size alone doesn't win fights. Smart fighters do. He highlighted the massive talent gap, the experience difference, and most importantly, Tank's elite ring IQ. According to Teddy, Tank has faced world-level boxers with far more skill than Jake, and he's broken them down with timing and precision. If he touches Jake clean on the chin with the kind of power he carries, Atlas said, Jake might end up doing a dance he didn't plan on doing.
Entertaining fight, to be honest. Jake Paul has a lot of followings, a lot of guys that are going to come and watch, and that gives the opportunity for other fighters to be seen on those cards, you know. So a lot of people don't agree, but at the end of the day, for me, it's entertainment. And if we can take boxing to the next level and give other fighters opportunities to be displayed and for other people, YouTubers and all that, to be seen, and hopefully all the YouTubers and people there are just there.
That's the point many keep returning to. Jake might have the size, but Tank's power is something else entirely. He doesn't just hit hard, he hits smart. Every punch comes with timing, precision, and perfect placement. When you factor in that Tank's faced quicker, more technically sound opponents than Jake, that size gap starts to mean a lot less. As Teddy Atlas pointed out, boxing has always had moments where the smaller, sharper fighter outclassed the bigger one. That's what makes the sport what it is. Size can give you an edge, but it's never enough when real skill, patience, and ring IQ step inside the ropes.
Jake he ain't gonna fight back. He said, so I say, you gotta take him serious. You know what I'm saying? Because he had you on a hit list before this fight even happened. So his mental is on you. So you have to take him serious.
Still, there's a genuine debate about whether the size difference could create trouble. Jake Paul is a cruiserweight, built to throw big, heavy shots even if they come slower. Tank, on the other hand, comes from divisions where speed, angles, and constant movement are everything. They're operating in 2 completely different rhythms, and that contrast alone makes this matchup unpredictable.
Listen, he's a marketing genius, but when it comes to people that pick his fights, I can't get my head around it. If Tank hits him clean, he's going to sleep. He'll have a lot of smoke blowing up his backside by his coaching team and people like that, but when he gets hit with real 10 ounce, well, I'm told it's 16 ounce gloves now, it's like an exhibition. Right. I'm told it's big gloves and head guards he's gonna need.
Atlas even referenced moments in boxing history where smaller fighters shocked the world against naturally bigger opponents. Like when Terence Crawford challenged Canelo Alvarez, but he was quick to point out that Tank's situation is different. This isn't a regulated title fight with strict weight limits to keep things fair. It's an exhibition matchup, and that changes everything. Without the usual protections of weight classes, the dynamics shift. The tone of the fight becomes less about fairness and more about spectacle, and that's where the danger creeps in.
Do you think that it's fair to call them boxers now? We talk about Logan brothers.
I think it's okay to call Jake Paul a boxer. The only reason why I say that is because he do be in the gym. He's working on stuff. The fight that he fought Mike Tyson, I don't think he should have fought Mike Tyson because of who Mike Tyson is and the age. And he said that he didn't try to knock him out. Yes, you did. You just couldn't.
The Florida Athletic Commission has officially laid out the rules. It's going to be 10 rounds, 3 minutes each with 12-ounce gloves, and yes, knockouts are allowed, even though the result won't touch either man's professional record. To make things even more unusual, the fight will be scored by 2 human judges and 1 AI system to add a modern twist. There will be no official winner announced, but everything else, from the ring walk to the pace and pressure, mirrors a real sanctioned fight. And that's exactly why some fighters are uneasy. On paper, it's labeled an exhibition for safety and legal reasons, but in practice, it's staged like a genuine high-stakes clash. For purists, that blurs the line between sport and show business in a way that doesn't sit right.
Tank is not the guy that knows how to sell a fight. Tank cannot sell a fight in his own division. You have the Paul brothers and they come over to boxing. Their idea from day one is we don't have the skills or the experience. What we're gonna do is we'll take on the absolute best guys, but they're gonna spot us some pounds. Tank has one job to do, that it doesn't make any difference, that boxing is a real sport. My skills versus your skill, of which I am an abundance of.
The commission itself made it very clear. The match will be logged in the National Registry strictly as an exhibition, meaning it won't appear on either fighter's official record, but at the same time, they confirmed that knockouts and technical stoppages will immediately end the fight, just like a standard professional bout. So when you strip away the paperwork, what you're left with is this. It's an exhibition only by name. Once that bell rings, it becomes a real fight with real punches, real danger, and real consequences. There's no light sparring clause, no friendly pace, just 2 men in a ring with the world watching, and only one walking out with the narrative in his favor.
Tank looked very uncomfortable facing off. He just did. I've seen other face-off this Tank done. He gets in their face and they're intense and he looks good. He looked very meager up there. You've had 8 fights and you're gonna go tangle with Tank Davis. And the story instantly comes out. Jake is so much bigger. There is such a compliment to Jake within that insult. It is meant.
A lot of fighters see this entire matchup for what it really is. A business play wrapped in a fight poster. It's engineered to generate views, controversy, and pay-per-view money more than it is to settle a sporting rivalry. And honestly, most pros don't even deny that. They know how the game works. Boxing is a business first, sport second. Following their recent exchange of words, Floyd Mayweather was spotted visiting Gervonta Davis's training camp, even stepping into the ring for a few light sparring rounds. Whatever tension once existed between them now seems to have settled, with Floyd emphasizing that his visit wasn't about drama, it was strictly business. As he explained, being involved in Tank's preparation for Jake Paul makes perfect sense. Having already shared the ring with Logan Paul, Floyd understands firsthand the kind of challenge Jake is expected